Hello and welcome to week 4 of AC1520, Managerial Accounting and Decision Making. And remember that the contact information is here with the name, the email address, and the phone number. We also have office hours. We've changed them to Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. These are not required, but the time is carved out. If you would like to ask questions at that time, it is in a question and answer format. If you want to ask questions, I would first call in here. And once we are called in, then we can use the screen share software as needed in order to work through problems using things like Excel and whatnot if we need to do so at that time. Scrolling down to the current week that we are in, being week 4. So scrolling down to week 4, we have the familiar layout. We got the objectives. We got the topics. We have the lessons. We'll be continuing on chapter 23. Chapter 23 is something we started last time. Chapter 23 covering flexible budgets and standard costs. That will be the major focus here. We'll also be going to chapter 24, performance measurements and responsibility accounting. When we talk about the flexible costs, we're going to be doing the planning in such a way that we can get a bit more defined in some ways. We can also break out variable costs and fixed costs, and that will help us to make different projections. We'll be able to more easily make different types of projections based on how much we're going to produce or how much we're going to sell. And we can also narrow down a bit better in terms of how we did after the budget has been compared to the actual. We then have our links to the videos, instructional videos. If you would like to take a look at those, we have the information that we need to complete for the week. Everything from the discussions on down will be what we need to do for the week. So remember, everything that we need to do will always be in Moodle Room. So this is going to be your checkoff sheet. Although in this class and many of your classes, a lot of the work will actually be up here in McGraw-Hill's Connect. McGraw-Hill's Connect, although most of the work is done in there, will not have all the work listed in there. And in Moodle Rooms over here, although not all the work will be done in Moodle Rooms, all the work will be listed in Moodle Rooms. Therefore, you want to check everything off here, although you're doing the work there for the most part. We start off with the discussion forums, of course, one piece that is not in Connect, but is in Moodle Rooms. Remember that it's worth 21% of the grade, big piece of the grade. You want to make sure to pick up 100% of that 21% because you have the most control over that piece. In order to do that, you need at least 4 posts. And I would post more than 4 posts. I would post like 7 to 8 times at least just to make sure to pick up that information. A good post will have, you could copy and paste from Google, you could reference other sites, but make sure to reference it so that you are not plagiarizing. And in order to get full credit on a post such as that, you want to put it in your own words and or critique the information that you have found. So give your opinion on what do you think about it. When you respond to other people's posts, you want to make sure that you are adding content. So it's good to appreciate someone else's post, but then add something new to it in relation to the topic. And that's the way to get the most credit on any particular post. Going down to the work we need to do. The assignments, the homework, and the quiz will be in Connect. So let's go up to Connect, McGraw-Hill's Connect up here, and take a look at what we have at this time. So we're going to be in week 4. So remember that the homeworks are actually the Learn Smarts. You may want to do those first because those will be the multiple choice type questions that will walk through the assignments. Or you may want to do 23 and then move down to 23 problems and then do 24 and then move down to 24's longer problem. In any case, there should only be about 25 questions, so make sure that when you're done with that, you can keep practicing for the quiz, but make sure that you all recognize that you have completed what you need to complete in order to get full credit on the Learn Smarts after about 25 questions, if they're correct, 25 correct questions. And then we have this information here. So these are going to be the longer problems. Now, they're not as long, so I know there's 3 of them, but they're not anywhere near as long as the one that we had last week. That's why there was only 1 of them last week, I would assume. And we have the paper clips that are going to help out with this assignment. So remember, the paper clips are not something that need to be turned in. They're not an added assignment. They're combined and a piece of this assignment. So you want to open the paper clip, for example, related to this assignment. You'll get an Excel sheet like this. So you want to take a look at this Excel sheet. And the first page will have the videos. The second page will have a worksheet. You do not have to do the worksheet, but Excel, in these types of problems especially, can help with the calculations within Excel. So sometimes it's easier to use Excel to do the calculations rather than doing them in a calculator and whatnot. So you might want to use the worksheets on these here. And you're going to use that to enter the data into this information here. Same for these 3 problems. So we got 3 of them this week, but they're not quite as long. So we see that format. And then we have the quiz down here. Make sure to take the quiz by Sunday. Cannot generally make up the quiz unless there's an unusual circumstance in which I take that on a case-by-case basis. So you have to let me know and we'll take a look at it. So usual circumstances, make sure to take the quiz by Sunday. If you run into a time constraint, then it is possible that we have more leeway to do this stuff, the homework and assignments, late. So if you run into a time constraint, do it that way. Make sure to take the quiz and then take these a little bit late and do them as soon as possible. You may lose some points for late work, but that would be the best way to go to make sure to pick up the most points on that. Back to Moodle Rooms, up to the gradebook. Gradebook on the left-hand side, green icon, and there it is. Now remember that everything's going to be due on Sunday, and then by Tuesday we're going to enter everything into the grade book. For example, week 3 will end on Sunday, and I'll enter the grades into the grade book by Tuesday. That means that anything done in week 3, including late work for prior week, within week 3 as well as week 3 work, should be in by Sunday. Anything that has been completed in week 3 will then be graded by Tuesday. You'll want to go in here and check to make sure that, for example, the week 3 discussion form should change from a dash to 100% because everybody's shooting for 100%. Same with the assignment, same for the quizzes and the homework. If anything changes from a dash to a 0, that means that it has been graded but no credit has been given. If you haven't done the work, then you want to take a look at those zeros and see if you can then go back and pick that up for late work. Then everything done in week 4, whether it be week 4 work or late work from prior week, will be graded the following week by Tuesday of the following week. So that will be the system. Keep that in mind. Let me know if you got questions on it. And that's it for week 4. So have a great week 4.